Welcome back to Ed's Trains. Today I'm going to show you how I fixed a problem that I've had in my layout. I have these little buck converters. Look like this. Get a little closer. And I use them to power the accessories on my layout that require DC voltage. Now the beauty of these is that they're compact and they can take 18 volts in and an output anywhere from, I believe, 3 volts to 18 or 24 volts DC, and makes it very convenient. And rather than have one in a terminal, run wires to various places on my layout, I just dedicated one of these to each of my accessories. But the problem I was having is I've used hot glue, double-sided tape, and industrial strength velcro to keep it at the bottom of my layout, and invariably they fall off and they hang, and it's just been a problem. So I decided the only way to solve it is to use these things. Printed circuit board spacers. And what I can do is just attach this to the bottom of the, mechanically through a screw, attach it to the bottom of the layout, attach the circuit board, and I don't have to worry about it ever coming down again. So I'm going to show you how I did all that in demonstration of the buck power source, buck converter. Oh, by the way, in the description below, I'll give you a site to each of the pieces that I've used to solve this problem. So you can, if you decide to do that, you got a site to go to. Here's the scene that I use, I think 2 buck converters to power. On the left-hand side, you'll see that barrel simulated fire, and that's a DC powered LED in there. There's an LED lighting up the inside of the boxcar, and also there's this music. So I've got 3 items that are being powered by 2 buck converters. The buck converters and the speaker and the soundboard all fell off from the bottom of the layout. And I've got this little test set up for 2 reasons: to check the buck converter, but also to demonstrate to you what I intend to do. As I mentioned earlier, I've tried to secure these devices, these printed circuit boards, under the bottom of my layout. I used double-sided tape. That didn't last very long, and the converter fell off. And then I tried hot glue underneath the circuit board, slap it up against the bottom of the layout. That didn't work. And then I tried industrial strength velcro, where I put one side of the velcro, attach it to the bottom of the printed circuit board. And actually I did it too. I used the glue that, the stickiness that comes with the velcro. And then when that didn't work, I tried hot glue and then put that on and up against the bottom of the layout. I used the other side of the velcro. Now the bottom of the layout velcro gave way as well. So I finally decided the best thing to do is to use these printed circuit board spacers. And what this does is that you attach a printed circuit board. See little holes on the sides of them. Now some of these are real close. This one is not a problem. It'll fit perfectly. But with these connectors, there just isn't enough room because the screw has a little flange on it. But these things are so light, and all I'm going to do is attach it. I mean, they're not going to get moved around or anything, so it's going to be just fine. So what I'd like to do is demonstrate these, the converter. I've got this hooked up to a transformer over there, and coming in this side of the converters is the input, or AC, and here is the output, and this is DC, and I've got it now connected to a searchlight that I intend to put on my layout to illuminate the bottom of the 4 aircraft that I've got hanging from the ceiling. So here, I'll put on the transformer. And I don't know if you noticed, but the light came on the searchlight. There's an LED. I managed to get in there. Now, on the printed circuit board, you can set the output voltage, or actually the input voltage if you want, from an external source. But for the output voltage, it has this little potentiometer, I guess, and screw, and you just turn this screw and it'll increase or decrease the output voltage. Now, it's counterintuitive. When you turn that screw clockwise, it's going to lower the output voltage. If you turn it counterclockwise, it increases the output voltage. Now, I picked these up. I can't remember if it was on Amazon or eBay. Doesn't matter. They're real cheap, and it must have been on eBay, because when you order on eBay, you can't. Well, it could have been Amazon too, but it's rare that you can get one or two. You usually end up with 55 or something. So I got a drawer full of these things, and I use them throughout my layout rather than trying to run wires from one power source to a number of DC accessories. I just decided to assign one to each and not have to bother. So that works out. That works out very well. Now, in addition to these individual buck converters that I just talked about, there's another converter which actually is a distribution board in addition. So you can put in AC here and then output DC here. And what this does is, instead of having a whole bunch of these little ones, you have this. And for me, I've got a city scene that I intend to put these street lights on. And rather than have a whole bunch of little ones and wires running in all different directions, I thought, well, I'll just use one of these dudes and distribute the power to all of these. So let's see if it works. What I'm going to do is disconnect the single buck converter and connect to the distributed power source, transformer, buck converter, whatever you want to call it. And let's see, there we go. And before I turn the power on, I want to make sure it's okay. All right, I think we're good to go. Let me try. Put the power on the... Yeah, there we go. You can see these are all lit. So well, it very well could be that I've got to tighten up the connections. But anyway, you get the idea that there's more than one way to do it. And also, there are these single buck converters that have an LED to let you know if it's on or off. I've got a couple of those in my layout. The ones I'm going to show you have a blue LED to show you that the light's on. Here's the bottom of the layout. The speaker's here. It fell off from the bottom. It's kind of a sound box for the speaker, but you can see there's these little pads. Oops. Yeah, see that sticky tape? It came off the bottom of the layout. The soundboard fell off too, and it's got, it's the back end of the sticky side of the, quote, industrial strength velcro. And this just came off. I don't know what it was connected to. I could probably go up there and find out in a minute. And here's the other buck converter. You've noticed that broke loose as well. And this is the one that has the LED to indicate that it's on. So what I'm going to do is use one of those spacers, well, actually more than one, and I'm going to connect all of the circuit boards permanently, not permanently, but affix them to the bottom of the layout, actually mechanically, using a screw rather than trying to fool around with tape or glue. Well, before I attach all this to the bottom of the layout, I wanted to show you that actually I modified the enclosure for the speaker. I decided that rather than slap it up against the bottom of the layout, I'd expose the speaker completely, and to do that I used like fencing material to cover it, put a little screen on it, a couple of pieces of foam board that I hot glued in, and then hot glued the screen on and put a little bit of electrical tape around and dress it up. And then what I'm going to do is just put it up like that, and the sound I think will be a little better. Okay, I have a few of the items mounted, and I'm going to mount the last one and show you how I did it. Just as a review, here is the speaker box. This is the sound module. This is one of the buck converters. Here's another buck converter. And this is the last one. But I found the easiest way to do it is to first mount the printed circuit board spacer onto the circuit board. Let me get that tight on there. There we go. And then all I'm going to do is just find where I think is a good place to put it, and keeping in mind that here are the terminals that I might have to open and close to pull wires out. And once again, if you notice, I've got, I think you can see it, I've got it labeled, and this one happens to be 12 volts. So what I'm going to do is find a good place to be able to get to it, and I think this is pretty good, because I got to remember you got a screwdriver, so I wanted to be sure that I could get to the screwdriver. And the other thing is, I mean, get to the terminal with the screwdriver, and the other thing is these will move, so spin on the spacer. So I think I'm going to put it probably like right there. I think that works. Yeah, that works. So now I need a screw, and I'll put it in the spacer. Should stay. And then I'll just mount it here. And that's it, folks. Now you see all the spaghetti here. I'm slowly working my way through getting some sense of organization into it. So I've got a, they aren't labeled, so I'm going to label. Initially, I thought this would ran the LED in the fire barrel, but actually it runs an LED strip above my track, because it's connected to a switch over here. So long and short of it is I'm going to these so that I can quickly identify them. And I wanted to show you how I'm going to do that. So this print master, as I said, a label comes out here. It connects wirelessly to your phone, and you use the app to design your label, and you just print it out here, and I'll stick it up on the bottom of the layout, and hopefully the label will stick. Okay, a couple of things I wanted to follow up on. One is that little label maker I was telling you about, Printmaster, and the app that comes with it. Well, looks like this. I don't even know what that is. Looks like a cup upside down. And here's the app. Oop, it's got to open. There we go. And it gives you a bunch of choices. But I select white. So I say, yeah, that's kind of what I want. And then you double tap here, and you can print, and you can increase it, but the size of the label, of course, is limited. And you can increase or decrease the font size. And then once you decide what you want, all you do is hit print, and it comes out of the printer. So give me a second and I'll be back to you. What I inputted into the app, I don't know if you can see it right there, is the power source for the LED light strip. Now what you can do is fill up the size of the label itself, so it's as large as it can be. And then once you're satisfied, you say, fine, that's what I want, the LED, and then you can select the numbers that you want. So down here is the print label, and in a second what I have to do is turn on the printer itself, and I'll say print now, and here it comes. And it's the let's see if it's right. Yep, there we go. The LED light strip. And you just tear it off, peel it off, and stick it wherever you want to stick it. Okay, here's a finished product. Moving left to right. Got the lighted barrel and the campfire. Soundboard. Power board for the soundboard. And the power board for the LED light strip. The other thing that I mentioned were these lever connectors by Wago. And just so that you know, it's not just these line in, line out, but they have them, like all of the other Wagos, in all sorts of numbers that you can connect to. And I believe the largest is this, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for instance, you can put in a ground wire into one end or wherever you want it, and then you've got 4 more outlets that are all ground. And if you've got multiple devices that you want to ground, it's perfect. You can take one of the grounds, for me, off of my bus wire, and I've got 4 of them sitting here to plug into any accessory or whatever I need. So these happen to be called New Age, but just look on Amazon, or I don't know, maybe they're even on eBay. But anyway, they're really handy, and they're a lot better than the older Wago connectors that I showed you earlier. Okay, well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. And as I said, below in the description I will have links to the various products that I talked about during this video. Thanks for watching.